OutDaughtered's Danielle Busby opens up about her struggles with mom guilt. With a house full of 6 kids, 5 of them being 4-year-old quintuplets, a dog, and a husband who frequently travels for work, Danielle Busby is no stranger to chaos. But even the OutDaughtered matriarch, who's normal, has been full tilt for at least those last 4 years now, feels that dreaded mom guilt from time to time. In one episode of the beloved TLC reality show, Danielle vented some of her frustrations about that particularly unpleasant feeling that comes along with parenting, telling husband Adam, "Sometimes at the end of the day, I feel like it's just been battle all day to the point where, I feel kinda guilty about I didn't parent well enough today." This wasn't a new feeling for her, and mom guilt is also something she's spoken out about on both social media and the family's blog. Danielle Busby tries to keep everything in perspective. The mom of 6 took to her blog to explain her thoughts on the topic of mom guilt, where she wrote very honestly about how her kids get on her nerves, but also explained that she tries to remind herself that she's not perfect either. "I'm about to be really honest. I love my children with everything I have, but some days they test my last nerve. They nitpick and fight with each other, whine and complain when I ask them to do a chore, and plug their noses when they see a vegetable on their plates," the OutDaughtered star wrote. "But you know what's harder than dealing with my kids' reactions? Recognizing and accepting that I'm flawed too. Yes, this mama does her best to nurture and love, but sometimes my response is anger, impatience, or harsh words." Danielle Busby reminds moms that they are enough. But Danielle has a reminder for herself and all those moms out there feeling the same way. She posted a picture of herself to Instagram, surrounded by laundry and donning a shirt that aptly read, "May your coffee be stronger than your toddler," and reminded everyone, mom guilt. "There are days I feel like I am failing at this mom thing, and maybe there are other moms that can relate." This #FaithfulFriday blog post is a reminder that God says, we are loved, we are called, we are equipped, we are enough. Danielle Busby has been shamed by fans. While most moms dealing with mom guilt only have their own feelings to grapple with, Danielle is in the public eye, so things are a little bit more complicated for her. The Busbys have made a lot of controversial decisions over the years that have brought parent shamers out in droves. They've been slammed for everything from letting one of the quints skip a grade to not removing locks from the kids' doors. The Busbys have even been criticized for taking some time for themselves to go out on dates. While it's cute when the guilt trip is coming from their kids, Danielle revealed on Instagram that she and Adam can't go out without one of the kids begging them to stay home. It's a different story when it comes from fans. Danielle even took to the family blog to defend the couple from people criticizing them for going out. "Adam and I get a lot of criticism for having too many date nights," she wrote. "We wholeheartedly feel like by taking care of our marriage first, we are doing what is best for our kids. One of the essential things that children need is a loving and secure home, and to us that need can be met only by making sure the relationship between Adam and I is strong." Danielle Busby reminds herself to keep an attitude of gratitude. Whether it's mom guilt, parent shamers, or just a bad day, Danielle makes sure to keep focused on all of the blessings in her life. "Do you ever just find yourself in a grumpy mood?" she wrote on the Busby family blog. "Sometimes I can't put my finger on the exact cause. Maybe just a mix of roller coaster hormones, a messy house, a long to-do list, and plain old exhaustion, but I let all these things contribute to my bad mood, and it makes it hard to appreciate the good things in life sometimes. And when we don't appreciate the good things, we focus on the bad." Danielle believes that the best cure for this kind of mood is gratitude. "It turns what we have into enough," she said. The OutDaughtered star added, "Contentment and gratitude aren't identical, but they could be sisters. Contentment is the beginning and crucial to having a grateful perspective. A grateful perspective realizes that God gives us all the good we have, gives Him praise for it, and then believe His goodness is enough. It's an attitude of gratitude. I've always believed that being a mom is the most rewarding thing in the world, but I also never realized just how complicated it could be. I mean, on one hand, I get to watch these incredible little humans grow every day, and that's a privilege that I don't take lightly. But at the same time, there's this constant pressure, this weight, that comes along with trying to be enough for them all. And when I say enough, I mean emotionally, mentally, Physically, I want to be everything they need, but sometimes it just feels impossible. That's where the mom guilt comes in. That feeling that no matter how hard you try, it's never enough. And it's something I've been really honest about lately, because I know I'm not alone in this. Being a mom of 5 girls, there's never a dull moment, and while people see our lives on TV, they don't see all of the behind-the-scenes moments, the moments that really challenge you, the ones that make you question yourself. People always think, oh, Danielle has it all. She's got 5 beautiful daughters, a loving husband, a great home. And yes, all of that is true, and I am incredibly grateful. But gratitude doesn't erase feelings of guilt. It doesn't make you stop second-guessing yourself when you can't be everywhere at once, when you can't give every single moment the attention it deserves. Mom guilt doesn't come from a lack of love. It comes from loving so deeply that you wish you could do more. One of the hardest parts about mom guilt is that it comes in different forms every single day. Some days it's small things like maybe I didn't make it to a recital because I was juggling another daughter's needs. Or maybe I forgot to sign a permission slip, or I didn't have the perfect craft project ready for school. These are small things, but they loom large in your mind. Other times, it's bigger things, like feeling that I'm not teaching my girls the right lessons or helping them develop into the people I hope they become. Every parent worries about that at some level, but when you're constantly under public scrutiny like we are, it can feel amplified. I've learned that talking about mom guilt openly is really important because it reminds me that I'm not failing, I'm human. It reminds me that every parent struggles with these feelings, whether they post about it on social media or not. For me, acknowledging that guilt and talking about it has been therapeutic. It helps me process my feelings and approach motherhood with more clarity and patience. It's a way of saying to myself, I'm doing the best I can, and that is enough. Another thing I've realized is that perfection is a myth, especially when it comes to parenting. For so long, I tried to live up to an ideal. I thought I had to meet being the perfect mom who could balance work, home, and family life flawlessly. But perfection doesn't exist, and striving for it only made the guilt worse. I had to learn to accept imperfection and understand that showing up, even when things aren't perfect, matters more than I ever realized. My daughters don't need a perfect mom. They need a mom who is present, who listens, who loves unconditionally, and who can admit when she makes mistakes. Sometimes, mom guilt comes from comparing yourself to others. Social media can be tough in that regard because it's easy to look at other parents and think they have it all figured out. You see their perfectly coordinated outfits, their Pinterest-worthy crafts, their seemingly endless energy, and you start to question your own abilities. I've been there, scrolling through my feed and feeling inadequate, but over time I've learned that what's on the surface doesn't tell the full story. Every parent has struggles that aren't visible online, and realizing that has helped me be kinder to myself. A big part of dealing with mom guilt is also communicating with your partner. Josh and I have been through so much together, and having that team mentality has made a world of difference. We support each other, we talk about the challenges, we divide responsibilities, and we remind each other that we are enough. There are days when we're both exhausted, when everything feels overwhelming, but leaning on each other keeps us grounded. Mom guilt doesn't exist in isolation, it affects the whole family, and having open communication is essential in managing it. I also think self-care plays a huge role in combating mom guilt. For a long time, I neglected myself because I felt guilty taking time away from my daughters. But I've learned that self-care isn't selfish. It's necessary. Whether it's a few quiet moments to read, exercise, or even just enjoy a cup of coffee without interruption, these moments recharge me. They remind me that I can take care of myself while still taking care of my children. Being a happier, more balanced mom ultimately benefits them too. There are moments when mom guilt hits me harder than others. It can be triggered by something someone says, an unexpected challenge, or simply by the weight of daily responsibilities. But what I try to remind myself is that guilt is a sign of my love, not a sign of failure. Feeling guilty shows that I care deeply, that I want to do better, and that I am aware of my impact on my daughters' lives. It's a signal to pause, reflect, and adjust, not to beat myself up. Parenting 5 daughters also teaches me the importance of empathy and patience. Each child is unique, and each has her own needs, desires, and emotions. Mom guilt sometimes comes from feeling like I can't meet each of those needs perfectly. But what I've learned is that listening, validating, and being emotionally available matters more than trying to fix everything. My girls need a mom who is present and engaged, not one who is perfect. I've also realized that mom guilt can be an opportunity for growth. When I feel guilty about a choice or a moment, I can reflect on it and make small adjustments. Maybe it's being more intentional with my time, or finding new ways to connect with each daughter individually. These reflections help me become a better parent over time. Guilt doesn't have to be paralyzing, it can be transformative if you let it teach you. Sometimes I talk to other moms, especially those who also have multiple children, and hearing their stories helps me feel less alone. Mom guilt is universal, even though each experience is different. Sharing these feelings and normalizing them is incredibly powerful. It allows us to create communities of support rather than competition. I want other moms to know that if they feel guilty, they are not failing, they are just human. I also try to involve my daughters in understanding family responsibilities in age-appropriate ways. Teaching them that everyone in a family contributes, that mistakes happen, and that love is unconditional helps me manage my guilt. It reminds me that parenting is not about being perfect, it's about guiding, nurturing, and growing together as a family. Being on reality TV adds another layer. I know people see our lives through the camera lens and may form opinions about our parenting. Sometimes, the pressure of public perception intensifies mom guilt. But I've learned to prioritize what really matters: the well-being of my daughters and the health of our family. Opinions from outside should never outweigh what we know is best for our girls. And focusing on that helps me manage the guilt in a healthy way. I often journal my thoughts, reflecting on moments that brought joy and moments that were challenging. Writing down my feelings helps me process them without judgment. It's like having a conversation with myself, allowing me to step back and see the bigger picture. This practice has been a lifesaver for managing the constant swirl of emotions that come with motherhood. Another thing I've discovered is the power of setting realistic expectations. I used to think I could handle everything flawlessly, but reality has taught me otherwise. I now set goals that are achievable and focus on progress rather than perfection. Celebrating small victories like spending uninterrupted time with a daughter or successfully navigating a tough day helps me feel accomplished instead of guilty. I also lean heavily on my faith. Prayer and reflection help me find peace when guilt starts to overwhelm me. It reminds me that I'm not alone in this journey and that I can rely on guidance and strength beyond myself. Faith provides a sense of grounding that balances the chaos of daily parenting. And through it all, humor has been a lifesaver. Sometimes you just have to laugh at the chaos because if you don't, you might cry. Parenting 5 daughters means messes, noise, unexpected challenges, and endless questions. Finding joy in the little moments, laughing at the imperfections, and embracing the chaos helps me manage the guilt and appreciate the journey. In the end, mom guilt is a reflection of how much you care, but it doesn't have to define your experience. I've learned to acknowledge it, reflect on it, and let it guide me toward becoming a more intentional and present parent. My daughters don't need me to be perfect, they need me to love them fiercely, support them relentlessly, and show up every day with my whole heart. And that's exactly what I strive to do, even on the days when mom guilt whispers in my ear. I've shared all of this because I want other moms to know that it's okay to struggle, it's okay to feel guilty, and it's okay to not have all the answers. Motherhood is messy, beautiful, challenging, and rewarding all at once. And through every twist and turn, every triumph, and every mistake, what matters most is love. Love for your children, love for your family, and love for yourself. Because when you show up with love, even imperfectly, you're doing more than enough. Sometimes, the guilt doesn't come from big mistakes or moments of forgetfulness, it comes from simply feeling like you're missing out. I remember last year there was a day when all 5 girls were in different activities. One was at soccer, one had a dance recital, another had a play date, and 2 were home with me trying to finish homework. I was running around the house like a whirlwind, making sure everyone had what they needed, juggling schedules, snacks, and feelings. And in the middle of it all, I just froze for a second and realized I hadn't truly connected with any of them that day. I was physically there, but emotionally, I felt scattered. That's when the mom guilt hits hardest. It's not about failing in one task. It's about feeling like you're failing in your role as a constant source of love and attention. That feeling can be crushing, and I had to learn how to handle it without letting it define me. I started noticing patterns in when and why mom guilt would show up. Often, it came from comparisons not just to other parents, but to myself. I would think, am I giving as much attention as I did yesterday? Or did I handle that tantrum the best way possible? These questions can spin in your head endlessly if you let them. But I realized that reflecting thoughtfully on these moments, rather than dwelling on them, made a big difference. Instead of criticizing myself, I could ask, what can I do differently next time? It became a way to learn and grow as a mom instead of punish myself. One coping mechanism that has helped me tremendously is creating small rituals with each of my daughters. Even 5 or 10 minutes of one-on-one time can make a huge difference. It could be reading a bedtime story, having a short conversation while making breakfast, or simply holding hands during a walk around the neighborhood. These moments, although small, help me reconnect with them and remind me that even amidst chaos, I am present and loved. And it helps the guilt fade, because it's not about perfection, it's about connection. There's also the struggle of balancing privacy with being on reality TV. People often forget that our family's life is also our personal life, and keeping certain moments private is essential for my daughter's emotional well-being. Sometimes, choosing what to share and what to keep to ourselves comes with guilt as well. You wonder, am I hiding too much? Or am I sharing enough for people to understand our story? It's a delicate balance, but I remind myself that my first priority is always the girls' comfort and happiness. That perspective helps me manage the guilt that can come from public perception. Another challenge I face is managing my own expectations versus reality. I am naturally organized and goal-oriented, so when things don't go as planned, it hits me harder than I'd like. I've learned to let go of some of those expectations and embrace the reality that life with 5 daughters is unpredictable. Messes happen, plans change, and that's okay. Accepting the unpredictable nature of family life has been freeing. I've discovered that letting go of rigid expectations actually allows me to be more present, more patient, and less consumed by guilt. Sometimes, mom guilt comes from the pressure of wanting to give my daughters every opportunity possible. Whether it's extracurricular activities, learning experiences, or travel, I constantly want to provide them with the best. But I've realized that what matters most is not the quantity of experiences, but the quality of attention and care during those experiences. It's easy to get caught up in creating a picture-perfect childhood, but the most memorable moments for my girls are the ones where we are genuinely together, not the ones that look good on Instagram. I also reflect often on how my own upbringing shapes my feelings of mom guilt. Growing up, I saw my parents do their best, but there were times they struggled too. I recognize patterns from my childhood that I both want to replicate and avoid. It's a balancing act of breaking cycles, holding on to what was good, and creating a nurturing environment for my daughters. That reflection adds layers to the guilt sometimes, but it also adds meaning and purpose. Every choice I make is influenced by love and the desire to do better, which I hope my daughters will carry with them. One area where mom guilt can be especially tricky is dealing with sibling dynamics. With 5 daughters, conflicts are inevitable. When arguments arise, I sometimes feel guilty for not intervening fast enough or for not resolving the conflict perfectly. But over time, I've learned that part of parenting is allowing children to navigate disagreements on their own while being there to guide and support them. This has been an important lesson for me, and it has taught me that my daughters are learning problem-solving and empathy even when I'm not directly orchestrating the outcome. Another layer to my mom guilt comes from wanting to support each daughter's individuality while also maintaining a sense of unity within the family. Each child has unique interests, strengths, and challenges, and I want to nurture those differences without inadvertently creating feelings of favoritism or neglect. This requires constant awareness, patience, and reflection. I've learned that being intentional, acknowledging each daughter's uniqueness, and celebrating their individuality helps reduce guilt and strengthens our family bonds. Self-compassion has been one of the hardest lessons to learn. Early on, I was incredibly hard on myself whenever I felt I fell short. I thought that acknowledging guilt was a weakness, but I've realized it's actually a sign of deep care and love. Learning to treat myself with the same kindness and understanding that I extend to my daughters has been transformative. When I make mistakes, I remind myself that growth comes from imperfection, and that modeling resilience is more valuable than striving for unrealistic perfection. I also try to cultivate gratitude as a way to counter mom guilt. At the end of each day, I reflect on moments of joy, growth, and connection. Gratitude helps me see the bigger picture, the love, laughter, and milestones that outweigh the mistakes or imperfect moments. It's a powerful practice that keeps me grounded and helps me maintain perspective. When guilt threatens to overshadow the positive, gratitude restores balance. As the girls grow older, mom guilt evolves too. The challenges change from managing toddlers and schedules to supporting preteens and teens as they navigate school, friendships, and personal growth. Each stage brings new fears and doubts, and yet it's also filled with opportunities to witness incredible development, resilience, and creativity. Watching them grow reminds me that even when I feel guilty, I am shaping strong, confident, and compassionate young women. That realization helps me forgive myself and continue striving to be present and supportive. Lastly, I want to emphasize that mom guilt is not something to hide or feel ashamed of. It's a natural part of loving deeply, and it's something every parent experiences at some point. By talking about it openly, reflecting on it, and using it as a guide to improve rather than punish ourselves, we can turn mom guilt into a tool for growth. I hope sharing my journey encourages other moms to acknowledge their feelings, practice self-compassion, and embrace the messy, beautiful reality of motherhood. Even on days when guilt lingers, I remind myself that my love for my daughters is unwavering. I remind myself that I show up, I listen, I nurture, and I adapt. And most importantly, I remind myself that love, not perfection, is the measure of a good mom. Because in the end, the heart of motherhood isn't flawless execution, it's presence, empathy, and endless love. And that is exactly what I strive to give my daughters every single day.